In this unit, we will be studying the country of Canada. The capital of Canada is Ottawa, located in the province Ontario. In this mini-unit, we will study the culture and geography of Canada. By now, you should have gotten a paper with the maps of Canada and the Canada Top 10s. Keep the maps in the map section of your binder, and please hold on to them for the future. You will need to use them on homework activities this week and also to study for next week's summative on Canada. The Canada Top 10s is a list of information you should know for the test as well. I'm providing it to you basically completed, so you have it as an at-home resource, kind of like a textbook if you had one at home. Keep it and study it. Now let's talk a little bit about Canadian geography, the political divisions and physical features. Canada is a country located on the continent of North America, directly north of the United States of America. Canada is divided into 10 provinces, and they also have 3 territories. Their provinces are very similar to what we call states. They're just political divisions within their country. Now let's practice the pronunciation of the provinces. We'll start in the northwest corner and move west to east. Repeat after me. Yukon Territory. Northwest Territory. Nunavut Territory. Newfoundland and Labrador. British Columbia. Alberta. Saskatchewan. Manitoba. Ontario. Quebec. Now let's practice the pronunciation of the smaller provinces in eastern Canada. New Brunswick. Prince Edward Island. Nova Scotia. Now let's study Canada's physical geography. Canada's physical features and latitude greatly affect its climate and where the people live. Look at this map. As you can see, the Rocky Mountains on the western part and the Appalachian Mountains in the east both spread into Canada. Now look in the central portion of the continent. The Great Plains that we've already studied in the United States also extend into Canada. This is an easy to understand climate map of North America. As you can see, the further north you go into Canada, the colder it gets. This explains the population density of Canada. 90% of Canada's population lives within 100 miles of the US border. This is simply because of climate. It is just too cold in the northern parts of Canada. Remember, the Earth's axis or tilt affects its climate. Areas along the equator are hotter, shown in red here on the map. Canada is to the northern part of the Earth. So the further north you go in Canada, the colder it gets because you're farther from the equator. Now let's explore Canada's 8 traits of culture. The first humans are estimated to have crossed the land bridge in what is today known as Canada 15 to 26,000 years ago. There were many tribes in Canada before European colonization. Experts estimate the total population of the Native American tribes present to be about 500,000 to 1 million people. Canada was first settled by the French in 1604. It became a French colony called New France. In the mid-1700s, Britain gained control of Canada. On July 1, 1867, Canada received its independence from Great Britain. It is still a part of the British Commonwealth, but it is its own sovereign, autonomous nation, meaning it can make its own decisions while still receiving British support and protection if needed. Today, Canadians celebrate July 1st as their Independence Day, known as Canada Day. In 2010, Canada hosted the Winter Olympics in the city of Vancouver. The capital of Canada is Ottawa. Today, Canada is part of the Commonwealth of Nations, a group of 53 nations around the world that were previously under British control or influence. This chart shows how government in Canada is organized. You can see that the Queen, the crown, is at the top, but remember, it's a constitutional monarchy. She has very little control, if any at all. In Canada, the Queen is represented by the Governor General. Again, he is just a figurehead. The leader of Canada's government is their Prime Minister, a role similar to a president. Notice how the government is divided between federal and provincial governments. This is similar to the United States. We're divided between federal and state. Remember, Canada's provinces are similar to our states. Because of its history as both a French and English nation, Canada today is a bilingual nation, meaning it speaks two languages. This is the website for the federal government of Canada. If you look at the top, you'll see Government of Canada or Gouvernement du Canada. You can choose which language you want to read the website in because, again, it's a bilingual nation. The three largest ethnic groups in Canada are people of French descent, British descent, and Native American descent. In Canada, Native Americans are referred to as members of the First Nations. They were the First Nations in Canada. This group was honored at the opening ceremonies of the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. Canada's recent census lists 34 ethnic groups. A large number of Asians have immigrated to Canada in the past 20 years. That's why this sign has writing in Chinese in addition to English and French. In Canada, 45% of the population describes themselves as Catholic. Another 25% is Protestant. The word Canada came from the Iroquois tribe's word Canada, meaning settlement. The border between the US and Canada is the longest border between two countries in the world. The coldest temperature ever recorded in North America was negative 81.4 degrees Fahrenheit at Snag, Yukon Territory on February 3, 1947.